my first consideration was the team. I had to ask myself, first of all, did I think I could do a good job? Would I be the best man for the job? And then, did I want all the aggravation I've seen Red go through for the last 10 years? And so, being somewhat of a nut, I figured that it might be fun. I don't anticipate any problems with the guys, because one thing that we've always had in the Celtics is mutual respect. And we think that's the most necessary ingredient for a winning combination.
Bill, this is a sensitive question, but it may need answering. As the first Negro coach of a major league sport, can you do the job impartially without any racial prejudice in reverse?
Yes.
How?
Because the most important factor is respect. In basketball, we respect the man for his ability, period.
This time, everybody has a good idea, and everybody seems to know who the next coach of the Celtics is going to be. Well, it wasn't as easy as that, because this wasn't decided until 2 days ago, when we had the final consultation with Russ. Then we had a meeting with Jack Waldron and Marvin Cratter, and they were unanimously in back of it. It all boils down to a couple of things. He wants to do it. He knows he can do it. We went over all the details of this thing, and he feels that coaching the Celtics next year, they could also win the championship. I think that's important. So at this time, I think I'd like to have Jack Waldron say a couple words about this, and then Marvin Cratter, and then we'll get the new coach to give his comment. Jack?
Thanks, Red. As soon as Bill Russell indicated that he wanted to coach, there was only one thing to do. It was a natural. We're all behind it. We think it's a great thing. And I can wish nothing but the best of luck to you, Bill. You're going to be a great coach, in my opinion, and a great leader. Thank you.
Marvin?
Bill, I can only tell you, when Red first called me and told us about what you were thinking, we gave it much careful thought and consideration, and I can only say that I'm pleased and proud and happy to join in their opinion. Once again, the Boston Celtics are making national basketball history, not only on the court, but now even on the bench in the coaching division. And I think the national significance of this appointment is going to have repercussions all around the country. And I can only tell you that everybody that I think admires Bill Russell the way we do are going to welcome and applaud and congratulate Bill on this appointment, and I know he's going to be the greatest.
Here he is, the new coach of the Celtics, the best to you.
Thank you. Well, and this is a little different for me. To say I'm nervous is an understatement, so we won't go through all that. I know now that I'm getting old, because as much as I've rapped coaches in the past, and then I decided to try it myself. And knowing all the players, you know, we got a lot of guys that been around this team for quite a while. We've got Sam and Casey, Havlicek, Sanders. Guys like that have been around 3 and 4 and 5, 8, 9 years. And so there are other things. You know, it's tough it's practically impossible to follow Red as a coach. You know, he's got a pretty good record. There are a lot of things that I considered. First of all, if Red hadn't assured me more than once that he really, sincerely wanted me to take the job, I wouldn't consider it. Or I wouldn't have considered it. Because all that I know, or a great deal I know about professional basketball, I learned from Red. I watched him and I've learned as much as I can from him over the years. And I still expect a great deal of help from Red. So Red has set a lot of good examples for me in procedure and everything. We're going to play pretty much the same type of ball next year, but there'll be a different coach. That's about it. If anyone has any questions they'd like to ask me.
Bill, are you going to be a carbon copy of Red Auerbach, or will you be your own coach?
Nobody could be a carbon copy of Red Auerbach. I'll have to do it my way. I'm a brickhead too. That's why I follow Red. I'll be a hardhead just like he is.
Bill, you want to play 48 minutes of every ball game next year?
Well, I got an inside line of the coach now. I don't know about that. Any other questions?
Yes, Bill, you and Red, about the timing, you know, if it's any particular reason to put up and down, next thing after the playoffs, before the playoffs, during the playoffs.
I can answer that.
To the mic, Red.
Well, the only thing about that is simple. You can't sit on something like this. It's got to get out, and then it'll just break in dribs and drabs. But I'll tell you this, it wasn't firmly and officially decided until 2 days ago. And we went through a month of this, making a decision, me trying to convince him, and of course Russell having to decide whether he wants to go through this additional work. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for basketball. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Why?
Well, there are a lot of reasons. One is I don't have to pat him on the behind anymore and say go out and get him, because he's going to have to do that to himself. So you got a tremendous motivating factor. And anybody who's over 30, you sometimes need additional little motivating factors.
I'll rub it in.
And now he's got all the responsibility. I'm not going to sit anywhere near him. We're going to have conferences away from the court, just shooting the bull on different things. Of course, he asked me about it, and I'll be very glad to talk with him. But he is going to be the boss, and he's going to run the ball club. They're not going to get any ideas from anybody that I'm going to be anywhere near it as far as practice or the games or anything like that. The answer is no. That was my stipulation to myself when I retired, and of course Bill is that way anyway. I wouldn't want any other coach. I wouldn't want a guy out there that's going to have me on his tail if I was that kind of personality, and I'm not. And you believe me or not, I'll stay away from it. And that's what he wants.
Bill, would it be possible in the fourth quarter to play center, coach, and hire all the same thing?
Well, fortunately, I don't smoke.
Any other questions?
Bill, in a matter of substitution, will you have anybody assisting you while you're playing for the Rebels?
Yes and no. If a guy gets tired that I don't notice, I'll have the team, we're going to get together after the season's over and before the season's over and talk over these things, how they can help me. The guys have all that I've talked to have expressed the desire to be of much assistance to me as possible. But I've had some experience in, you know how Red has a tendency to leave the games the first half. And so I've, the guys tell me, I said, if you're tired, let me know, and we'll get another guy in there. So I think we can work that out relatively simple. Actually, this is, in a sense, I'm probably the tallest coach in the history of the league. Other than that, I can't say exactly, pinpoint one thing as to what made me change my mind about coaching. Because when Red first asked me, I thought he was putting me on. And then he said, in his nice, clean-cut way, that he wasn't putting me on. If you know what I mean. So I told him I'd think about it.